Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none.
My first reaction would be, what on earth are you doing, woman? Or whatever he calls her. What are you doing?
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. I was just minding my own business, and then you showed up. Quick update. The mom was begging for it. She was an a-hole. He had to do it. Or he was absolutely psychotic. He already unalived his dad. The mom was about to tell on him to the cops, get him in prison. So he unalived her to get out of it. Pictures from the crime scene, we didn't see a cop who said there's no active investigation in Colorado. When he was there, he since lost his job because he was a little bit sketchy-edgy. So that's the quick update on this case. Not much to put in there so far. But I hope, what if anything, they will put in. What is little D doing? Huh? What? I have my new grifter hat. Maybe I'm just feeling it. We haven't heard. Well, she was nagging because she told him to be home by 10 a.m. We haven't determined the level of her frolicking so far. I will always hold out. Oklahoma and Colorado is the same state. It's facts. You can't. This is like people from New Mexico claiming they live in Arizona. It ain't real. I don't know why I say stuff like I do. But what is Danielle doing making me blush? I don't know. No. Hey, consciously biased. But we're going to hear the 911 call. It's probably not going to be the most exciting thing to listen to. So again, if you are a person who, please remember, you are the first defense for your mental health. This is a really good stress ball. I think Oklahoma and Florida is the same. No, that's on the opposite side of the country. Yeah, and everyone is coming at me. The expert is always, oh, we're going to buy Greenland. Thank you. We spend $4 billion a year to run Greenland, plus police, hospitals, infrastructure, military. Never been there. I'm probably never going to go there. But if you're going to pay the same amount of money you paid when you bought our Virgin Islands, trust me, ain't no such thing if the Danes have been around. But we can make a deal. I will be handling the transfer fee for like 5% of the total cost. That was the point. I have an octopus one. I have a C19 virus as well, and I got that from my buddy's ex-girlfriend doing the thing. Look where. Well, hey, Direxy. Sorry. Your plan is better. What? We are just finishing. Brandon has offered me to be the lead man to sell him Greenland. I can get 5% of the purchase fee, and then I'll have enough money that I can relocate myself and my kids to the US. No. You keep him, because well, apparently just been a like a poll up there, and only 6% wanted to be American. Probably more in Denmark. So if you can buy that part of Denmark, I'll be okay with it, because then I'll be an American.
Okay.
Let's waste some more time, because whoops, that was the wrong one. This ain't moving fast. Let's just say that. They are arguing stuff that nothing, and then nothing happens.
Honey, I'm taking you to Paris and I'm going to get you a Louis Vuitton bag for God only knows how many thousands of dollars, because we have somebody else's money to live high on a hog, right? He's not.
To live high on a hook. I love this guy.
For God only knows how many thousands of dollars, because we have somebody else's money to live high on a hog, right? These documents don't deal with this. My first reaction would be, what on earth are you doing, woman? Or whatever he calls her. What are you doing?
Why is the bottom of Africa called Cape the Good Hope? Because it's one of the worst shipping lanes. It's false advertising. It's kind of like when your ex-husband said, well, this is actually 6 inches. Well, you're going to pay for it. We'll figure it out. Yeah, it's the way he says it. The sad truth, these two lost a case in a half-an-hour verdict. The verdict was an hour and 53 minutes, I believe. Well, Iceland is actually a volcano, so it should be. I've had my dad was up there once because he was on the board who runs all the cemeteries in my town, and where's the natural place to have a convention where you talk about cemeteries? First time it was in Finland, and the second time was in Iceland, and yeah, they were just wasting money. Well, not wasting money. They were having trips paid by the board, but he said it was really wonderful. There's like a tunnel you could go through a mountain, and he said he walked like 10 paces in, and then he turned around and walked out because psychologically it just felt like that entire mountain was just pressing down on him. He said that was the weirdest feeling he ever had, but he was standing on that because you all know, you did geography, you have the Atlantic Ridge that runs all the way up through the middle of the Atlantic Sea, which is just a volcano zone where the earth is moving away from each other, and that's why we have all the volcanoes there. But on Iceland, because that's the part of the Atlantic Ridge that is above sea level, there's actually a ridge where you can stand on two continents at one time. So you can be in North America and Europe at the same time without having a passport. Interesting. Thank you so much. Jemima gave me my new hat. So I'm sporting the Grift. And how far is this from you, Mac? Because Danielle is only an hour away, but she said, like, I want to go there, report from court, tell you the composition of the jury. No. That's what she said. Which explorer? Dora? Well, it's because I used to be a gang member. I think Iceland was already established as a colony by Norwegian Vikings, and Eric the Red, I believe it was Eric the Red, became, well, he was lawless because he unalived the person. So he was, everyone could have unalived him if he had stayed on Iceland. That's why he went west and found Greenland. I believe that's the story. No, Hawaii is a hotspot. It's not the same thing. The volcanoes on Hawaii are all on top of a hotspot. A hotspot is a hole in the crust of the earth. The Hawaiian, the plate, tectonic plate that Hawaii is on, the rims are at Africa and the west coast of America. So it's actually just holes in the seabed, and that will move when that tectonic plate slides around. And that's why you have the Hawaiian Islands is in a row, because as the plate moves, there'll be a new volcano and a new volcano. And again, we're not talking about tomorrow. We're talking about over thousands of years. But as you all know, because this is basic geography that you have when you are in school. These are the three types. I believe there's only three types that can make volcanoes. You have a hot spot. That's just one spot that will create a volcano because the magma goes up from under there. Then you have the separating zones. That's what you have in the Atlantic Ocean. That's where the tectonic plate slides away from each other and the magma comes up. And then you have what you're having. That's why you have the big earthquakes in California because of the San Andreas fault. This is where the plates go underneath each other, and one plate will go. So you have this is the coast of California, and this is the seabed outside of California. The seabed is moving under California. That's why you have the earthquakes, because this is a tension zone. And then every now and again, the tension will release and you'll have earthquakes along that ridge. It's the same you have with over at Japan. That's also why you can have tsunamis, because it'll just make a massive, well, it'll make when you have that plate going under this plate and all the tension builds up when they're against each other, at some point it'll poof, and that's when you start a tsunami, because that's a tidal wave that'll start there and then slowly creep towards the coast. Ring of Fire is Hawaii, yes. I bet you it's not a great movie. Everyone in Hispanic that can. I want to bring that up. Currently mouth burning from spicy salsa. I just had some wraps with the hot salsa. It wasn't that hot. It was mediocre at best. It was like a chicken parm from D&E Pizza. Actually, Lizzo has lost a substantial amount of weight. No, I just I went to school and I remember what they told me. What's wrong with me? Where do you want to start? First of all, I made a YouTube channel. Second of all, certain people came in here. Well, actually, it's because you have that wave going and that'll accumulate. So it's the wave that's going to suck it out and then it'll go in there. And funny enough, the wave isn't that big when you're out in open water. It's a very small wave. It's not one of those 100-year waves you hear about when you're hearing about people who in the middle of the Indian Ocean just hit a massive wave. It's a very small, but it's just moving all along, and it's in waves normally is probably in this part of the water layer, but a tsunami will be in the entire layer, and that's just billions of tons of water that is moving at one point. And you can just imagine how much power that's moved at that point. But again, it's two pieces of the Earth's crust going under each other. So that's where all the tension comes from. And that's I don't know how much power. We didn't do that. I only did it on sea levels. I didn't do it on the higher levels. But We did have about tectonic plates and volcanology. I think it's the name. I don't know. But it's interesting figuring out how our Earth was made. That's why when you look at a map, you can see that South America kind of fits in with Africa because they slid apart. And again, it doesn't happen overnight. But that's back from when you had the Pangea. I crept out through a burning ring of fire. I yelled, ow, 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 and the burn went higher. The ring of fire, Taco Bell's ring of fire.
All right. We're back on
I
the
said
record.
map,
Mr. Griffith
not
is
maps.
present with both lawyers. Mr. Levine is here for the state.
What did you do now?
Ms. Thornhill, any change to your client's position? Before we bring the jury back in, just quickly, Mr. Levine, this evidence that you want to get in regarding Mr. Griffith's statement to Mr. Rapkin, his lawyer, is that today?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Maybe Friday.
Before that, I mean, you understood the basis of my ruling was that he knew or should have known,
I think I saw that movie.
assuming that the cell phone was controlled by his parent or grandmother or someone in acting as a parent, and that you would have to establish that to the court's satisfaction. You identified some things out in the hallway today, but I'm going to ask that you provide all of that, every bit of it, to Miss Thornhill and Mr. Hendry well in advance, like hopefully today after court, how you intend to prove that, because I don't want to have a jury waiting forever while we're talking about that in the hallway again. So if that's something that can be addressed beforehand, I want to address it that way.
Yeah, that's no problem. Just for the record, and I think Your Honor understands and the defense understands, it's all part of the discovery. But if your request is to point them to those spots so that our discussion in court can be more efficient, I don't have a problem with
Yes, that's my request.
that. Yes, Your Honor, not a problem. But there's not going to be any new evidence. It's all been provided in the discovery.
All right. All right. Are we ready for the jury?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Come on, move it along, move along, get on moving. Well, he's only 17, so he's 17, you know what I mean. The judge kind of looks like the dad from Arrested Development. No, he's 17. He is 17. He's being tried as an adult. Now I'm a believer. Can't remember that one. Get moving. You are almost 20 minutes late. It can't be that hard to be on time. Monkeys? Now I'm a believer.
And Ms. Thornhill, just for the record, you provided me with an instruction regarding your client's absence that reads, Collin Griffith has elected to waive his presence in the courtroom during publication of this particular piece of evidence.
Because they didn't have downstairs the evidence.
It's 165.
But that's all you want me to say. Mr. Levine, any objection to that?
No objection.
No, there was a lot of
165.
pictures put in that we didn't see. And then there was a cop, they argued about putting him on the stand for 40 minutes, and he said, yeah. Stood up and walked again. Nothing happened with him. Isn't there a song called Where Has All the Heroes Gone? No, it's I Need a Hero. I need a hero. Because I think it begins with Where have all the Where's my Hercules? It's from Shrek 2. Shrek 2. Shrek 2. So is it called Superhero? I need a hero. No. No, Holding Out for a Hero. Or no, is it that one? Yeah, it's Bonnie Tyler with Holding Out for a Hero. Holding Out for a Hero. Where have all the good men gone? Where are all the gods? Where the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds? Isn't there a white knight upon a fiery street? Late at night I toss and turn and I dream of what I need. I need a hero. I'm holding out for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. Holding out for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure and it's gotta be soon and he gotta be larger than life. Larger than life. We know what she's talking about, larger than life. Little D told me that one. What's my favorite rock band? I don't know, rock band. Don't know if I have a favorite rock band. I have a lot of 80s music I don't like. I'm more like a metal guy than a rock guy. I should go on Broadway, get booed off stage. I'm gonna be like that Spider-Man musical and get taken down before it even started. Well, I have to fill time, so of course there will always be some singing. Probably not a compliment. Freddie Mercury, I hate Queen. Queen is the... Yeah, Queen... No, U2 is the most overrated band in all of history. Queen is a close second. Really don't like Queen. I think it's... Bicycle, bicycle, I want to ride my bicycle, I want to ride my bike. And everyone, if you weren't on drugs, you didn't find that music interesting. It's so bad. The only reason people my age know it is because Bohemian Rhapsody was in that Mike Myers movie. Really not a fan of them. Beatles, nope. Aerosmith is good. I like Aerosmith. If we're going for rock, I like Aerosmith. But Poison is that, and Styx. I'm not sure that's rock. Well, I didn't say it was because of the bad singing. I said I'm going to be pulled down. If you want to know what I like, I created an 80s playlist on my channel. I think most people, if they found out what I'm listening to on the YouTubes, they would think, is she a 14-year-old girl? It's either 80s, 90s, West Coast, East Coast battle rap.
Was in the road.
Number 8.
Of course,
You enjoyed your lunch.
it just skipped. So this is the neighbor. And today I have been listening to Disney tunes all day at the gym. So that's what I'm listening to.
I know you're soft-spoken, but if you could please speak up nice and loudly so the jurors can hear you. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Sally K. Bell.
And could you please spell your first and middle name for the
First name
record?
is Sallie. Middle name is Kate.
Tell the jury about what's the name of the community where you live,
Hamptons, the Hamptons.
and what type of community is that?
It's a mobile home.
I like it when
And
you lie.
does it do you have to be a certain age to live there?
Yes.
And what age is it?
Backstreet
I
Boys.
think it's 65. I'm not
Hold on,
sure.
take that over.
Now,
back.
is it a pretty quiet and nice neighborhood?
Very much so.
Do you live across the street from a location where there was a stabbing?
Yes.
And I want to talk about that. If I could direct your attention to that Sunday on September 8th of 2024, the person that lives at that house, do you know her? Susan Detman is her name.
No, I've seen her, but I don't know her.
Were you aware that she had a grandson?
No.
Now let's talk specifically about that Sunday. Tell the jury, what were you doing on that day?
Well, I was preparing to go to church. It was about 4:45. And I was
think I
putting
know.
my purse and everything on the coffee table. And I looked up and I saw the black car parked in the driveway. And the white car was in the road.
All right. Jurors, can you hear her? Yes. Okay.
I can.
Now you mentioned that the time was about 4:45. Tell the jury how you remember that time.
Well, we go to church at
I like John Bon Jovi's old stuff. And born in the USA, I was
5:30. So we were getting up on the north side of Florida Avenue. And so we always leave a little early to get there.
All right. So around 4:45, which of the cars did you say was parked under the carport?
The black car.
All right. Did you see the white car arrive?
I didn't see it arrive, no.
All right. When you looked out your window and noticed the black car was in the carport and the white car was on the street, what did you see? What happened?
Oh, the coming out of the house and all?
Yeah. What did you see? What were people doing?
Oh, okay. I saw a lady come out and she had clothes in her hand. And she went around to the passenger side of the car, and she put the clothes in the car. The young man was standing on the driver's side.
And when you refer to the car, are you speaking of the black
The black
car?
car, yes, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No problem. And that black car, then that was under the carport, is that correct?
Yes.
Had you ever seen the guy before?
Yes, I've seen him once before.
And when was that? Do you recall?
That was about a year ago or something before this.
And so the time when you saw him on Sunday would have been the second time you saw
The
him?
second time, yes.
And do you see him in court today?
Oh my. Well, do tell. Could you have been Courtney Cox? No, that wasn't John Bon Jovi. That was also Bruce Springsteen. But oh my. I had a moment with a girl from Me and My, which would be me yelling, "Oh, you're hurt," and her looking at me like I was an idiot. I was drunk at the time.
Could you please point to him, Miss Bell?
The young man in the middle.
All right, for the record, Miss Bell has identified the defendant. Now, when you saw the lady, she was loading the clothes up in the black car, is that right?
Yes.
What were the what was the defendant and the lady doing? What were they doing like in conjunction with each other?
Well, he was standing on the driver's side. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there. And she went around and she put the clothes on the passenger side, and then she was talking and her hands were going. I couldn't hear what she was saying. And she went around the back of the car up close to him, and she was swinging her arms again, and he reached, and she says, I heard her say, let go of my hair, you're hurting me.
When
And
she said, let go of my hair, you're hurting me, was she doing anything violent to
she
him?
was swinging her arms and talking to him. And she was right up in his face, was talking to him. And then he reached out and to grab her hair. She said, let go of my hair, you're hurting me. And he reached up and opened the door, and they went inside, pulled her inside.
Okay. So let me ask you a few specific questions. When she and the defendant were talking, did it look like it was an animated or a heated conversation?
Arguing from one side. I didn't see him say anything. I just heard her.
Okay. And you kind of did a hand motion. Was she trying to hit him or trying to punch him or
She was
anything?
waving her hands like this.
Okay.
And then she said, let go of my hair, you're hurting me.
And when you say waving your hands like that, is that like as
She was
she's being-
talking.
talking to him?
Same
Okay.
way she was talking on the other side of the car.
Okay, I got you. When the defendant grabbed her hair, what did she say?
She said, let go of my hair, you're hurting me.
And were you inside or outside?
I was inside in my living room.
So it must have been loud enough, obviously, for you
I
able
could
to hear
hear
that.
that, yes.
And what did the defendant do to her next?
Then he just reached in and got hold to her, and he opened the door and pulled her in.
Was that the last you ever
That's
saw
the
of her?
last I saw.
Like some Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Now, did you end up going to church that evening?
I did.
And did you return to your house later that evening?
I did.
About what time did you get back, Miss Bell?
About 6:30 or 7:15.
And when you did return, was anything out of the ordinary going on?
We couldn't turn into Hewlett Drive where we live, so we had to go all the way around the back and come in from the other way. And when we got there was a policeman saying that we couldn't come through that way. So we said, well, our house is right there. He said, okay. So he moved the police car, and we pulled in our driveway.
Miss Bell, I don't have any other questions for you.
Thank you. Cross-exam,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hendry.
Yeah, when did she lose her earbud when he dragged her through the mulch? Again, overselling, under-delivering, kind of like me. Just ask Little D.
How are you doing, Miss Bell?
I'm fine. How are you?
Got a few questions for you.
Okay.
You said that
I bet you if it was 70s or 80s, it was Moisture Clock with Tom Jones in the room.
you could see the woman moving her arms, and you kind of gestured.
Yes.
I mean, was she moving her arms in a direction, or was it just generally up above her head?
She was facing him over the car. She could see him, and she was talking and waving her hand.
So, I mean, you know,
I couldn't understand what she was saying to him.
did it look like she was dancing, or did it look like she was doing something else?
She was talking and using her hands. It's like,
And so animated,
right.
directed at the person that
At
was
the
standing
person.
on the other side. Is that
Correct.
how you would say it?
Little D is Danielle. Why must you? This is a good Christian channel.
Okay. And you said that he was just standing
He
there.
was just standing there looking at her.
Okay. Was he inside?
He was outside,
So
next to the
he's-
car.
The car's in the carport,
Yes.
roughly near the door.
Near
did you
the
say?
door.
Okay.
On the driver's side.
And she walked over to him.
She walked around the car to him.
Okay. Now, can you hear any noise at this point?
Not then, no.
Okay.
I just saw her walking.
And about how long is this going on?
I guess maybe about 10 minutes, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay. You're watching it,
I'm watching it.
and you said that you and your husband were getting ready for church,
Yeah,
right?
he was in the back room getting dressed.
So he's not up there watching it
No,
with you.
no.
Okay. And then, so
Her name is Little D because her YouTube name is spelled with a little D instead of a big D in Danielle. That's what she wished for, if you know what I mean. Jamie, this is what happens when you are not on stream with me. I turn into a pervert.
when the woman gets close to the man, she's still moving her hands.
Still moving her hands.
Okay.
Yeah,
And how far apart were they? at
they
this
were
point?
standing close. They
Okay.
were standing close.
And was she moving her hands? What, he's close enough to touch her at some
He's
point.
close enough to touch her,
Okay.
yes.
And he reaches out and touches her. Either by, you hear her
Apparently
say,
by the hair, because she said, let go of my hair, you're hurting me.
but could you see that?
I saw his arm come up and around, and then she grabbed her hair.
Okay. So you see her hand on her hair?
Yes,
And was she moving her hands when she's that close to him?
she was talking, waving her hands like on the other side. And then she went around the back, and she was still waving her hands.
And until you hear the exclamation, "Let go of my hair, you're hurting me," you haven't heard anything else?
No, no. I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Okay. And you didn't hear anything after that exclamation?
No.
There wasn't any, for example, no's or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And you said they went into the house
Went
together.
into the house, yes.
Okay. Were both of their feet moving? Were they both walking?
Yeah, as far as I could see. I couldn't actually see the steps, but well, I went into the house.
And you watched them go into the
I watched
house?
them go into the house.
Okay. And you and your husband then presumably finished getting ready and went to church,
We went
right?
to church, yes.
Okay. And at this point, I mean, you didn't call 911, right?
No,
Okay.
no.
Did you and your husband, talk about this?
No, we talked about the white car because we had never seen that before. And he said we had to go around it in order to get to leave.
And so, other than the fact that the white car was present and you didn't know whose it
I didn't know
was,
who it was. No,
this was not something that was really piquing your interest at that time.
no.
And it wasn't until you can't get into your neighborhood that you start becoming worried that there might be something that
There's
happened
something
there.
wrong. And I saw the yellow tape around. I said, "What is that?" And I asked my husband, and he told me, "It's what you see on television." I said, "Oh."
So, would you describe what you saw as somebody being dragged into a house?
Well, see, the car was parked, and then the steps are there, and it's like two steps up, and so I couldn't actually see the feet going in, but I know
I
he
know
reached
those.
up and opened the door and pulled her in.
So, I mean, if he's pulling her
Mhm.
against her will, I mean, he's having to lift her up steps, right? You can't just go straight in.
She walked up the steps.
Okay, so she's moving her feet as far as you can tell
Correct,
up the steps.
correct.
And other than the one other time you had seen the gentleman, no interactions with these people that you're aware of.
He was there by himself the first time I saw him.
Okay. And that black car, how long was it present across the street? Do you know?
It came in late that night because when I went to bed, there was nothing in the driveway. And when I got early that morning, I saw it in the driveway.
Okay, so the black car arrived the night before at some point while you were asleep,
Sometime, yeah.
and you were home that day,
Mhm.
and you never saw it move?
No.
Okay, you never saw anybody in and out of the house?
Oh, the defense don't want to do that because she's confirming what they're saying. The mom wasn't dragged into the house. That was the state that claimed she was dragged into the house. He said they walked into the house. She ran and got a pew-pew.
When the two people, the man that you've identified as sitting here at the table with us,
Yes.
did you see him in the yard at all?
No.
Next to the house, in front of the house?
Just on the side of the
Okay.
car.
And did you ever see the woman in the yard?
I've never
front
seen
of the
her
house?
before, no.
Okay, so she was only, as far as you, from what you could see, it was just around that black car.
Around the car.
There was nothing out in the yard.
No.
Okay, but if she had come from the white car, then presumably she would have had to walk up that way. Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. Redirect.
Just briefly, Your Honor.
We just had two kids because I don't know if you have those vapes called puff bars, but they are illegal in Denmark and kids buy them, and they got some with ketamine in, so they got more than they paid for. They must be happy.
Now, Ms. Bell, when the defendant pulled the lady into the house by her hair, were you still in the same vantage point, looking out the window?
Yes.
And I want to show you one photograph that has been already moved into evidence previously, which is 167. Can you see that on your screen close by?
We can have it lower because some of the
Okay.
can see.
You see it?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Bell, I'm going to point to what I believe is the house where the stabbing happened, but correct me if I'm wrong. Can you see where I'm pointing? Is that the house? Actually, I'll come to your screen too.
Yeah, because
Be so nice if we could see it on our screen.
Is that the house?
that's the house. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And for purposes of the record, I pointed. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I pointed to this on your screen. So,
That's
all right, very good. Now, which is your house? Is your house this one?
no.
Is your house this one?
Yes.
Okay. So, and your window, I assume, is at the front of the house. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a pretty good view, angle wise. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right.
She could, but again, the difference in the story, she was dragged through the mulch into the house, or she was walking along with him. It's just, again, what story? Sometimes the jury would really like the defense to hit the same story, the state to hit the same story all the way through.
Now, when the defendant and the lady were first having whatever discussion they were having, you mentioned you could not hear that, correct?
No.
Is Is it a fair statement that when the lady said, "Let go of my hair, you're hurting me," that she yelled it or shouted it loud enough for you to be able to hear it?
Yes, she did.
Okay, I have no further questions for you, man.
Is this all released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hendry?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next witness.
The state calls Nancy Jones.
Nancy Jones. Yeah, but I don't know how close that car can be to the front door. Almost caught up. That's the microphone.
All right, good afternoon, Ms. Jones. May you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Nancy K. Jones.
And what community do you live in?
I live in the Hamptons.
Do you live across from a lady named Susan Detman?
Yes, I do.
And have you gotten to know her from living across from her for a while?
Yes, I have.
Are you aware that she has a grandson named Collin Griffith?
Yes, I am aware.
Have you seen him periodically coming and going over the time you've lived there?
Yes, I have.
Now, I want to direct your attention specifically to September 8th of 2024, which is a Sunday, when something out of the ordinary happened on your block. Do you remember, first of all, seeing the defendant at his grandmother's house at all that weekend, Saturday and or Sunday?
No, just a car.
All right, and the car being what color car?
It was a black.
And was it parked under the carport?
Yes, it was.
On a certain time on Sunday, did you happen to notice another car arrive at the house?
Yes, a white car.
Describe to the jury what you saw.
A white car pulled into the driveway, immediately sped out of the driveway, and then parked on the street.
Had you ever seen that white car before?
I believe I did last winter.
Did anyone get out of the white car?
Yes.
Up until this point, have you seen the Susan Detman's grandson outside or not?
Last winter I did.
Okay, but on Sunday you hadn't seen him at this
No,
point?
no.
All right, continue on. What happened when the car ended up parking on the street? What happened next?
The lady, I was a young girl, got out of the car, slammed the door, slung her purse over her shoulder, and proceeded into the house.
Had you ever seen the young lady before?
Not personally one-on-one, but I've seen the car over there. I thought it was granddaughter. She looked very young.
And where did you say the young lady went?
She immediately went into the house.
Where were you when you saw this?
I was sitting on my lanai.
And where's that at? In the front? Or
Yes, in the front.
All right. Did you think anything of it when that happened?
Nothing.
What happened next?
What happened next? I went back to the house and started doing some dishes and stuff. And then I walked back outside, sat down on my lanai. And then I
Sat down on her what? Lanai? It's a porch? I never heard that word before.
seen, do you want me to go into the details now?
Yes.
I seen the lady standing on the top step, and I just seen an arm come out and grab her by the shoulder, by her hair, and I just turned my head and immediately went back into the house.
Did you see who the person was that grabbed her
No.
by the shoulder and the hair?
No, never seen his face, never seen anything. All I seen was the shoulder and the hand come out.
And then what happened after the person grabbed her shoulder and hair?
I don't know. I went back into the house.
And then at any point did you realize that law enforcement had responded?
Yeah, about 40, maybe 45 minutes later, I was in my kitchen and I heard sirens and everything. I turned around and I seen cop cars in my yard and they were everywhere.
So besides the white car that pulled up, the only car that you had seen at the house was the black car, is that right?
That was it.
And I'm going to show you a picture. You can see it on the screen close to you. It's 167. And I wanted to know, can you see?
I don't know which is which.
All right, no problem. That was going to be my question.
I did used to watch the Golden Girls, but
My
it's
car
long
has a
since
red
then.
truck.
Yeah, I hear you. So this here, we've heard testimony is Susan Detman's house.
Okay,
Which house is yours?
this is mine.
Okay, and for the record, I'm gonna walk back up to the big screen. Is this the house you're pointing to as being your house?
Yes.
Okay. And from your view, is it kind of tough to see inside the Miss Detman's doorway?
It's catacornered, yes.
All right. I have no further questions for you, man.
Cross, Mr. Hendry?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. We have a few questions for you.
Thank you.
Ms. Jones, you said that you knew Miss Detman, correct?
Very.
She's been your neighbor? Okay.
Yep.
How long?
I don't know how long she had been living there, and it was probably 6 months.
Okay. And you had previously seen her grandson at the house?
Last February, I believe it was.
Okay. How many times had you seen him before?
I've seen him about 3 times. I think he was there like 3 weeks, maybe, and he was out running. I just seen him running. I'm assuming it was a family member.
You're assuming he was a family member?
Yeah.
Okay. So you never spoken with him?
Never spoken
You
with him.
didn't actually know the relationship?
No.
Okay.
None.
And the woman you saw, you had never seen her before?
No. I'd seen her. She drove up in the car, but I'd never personally met her or anything.
And when you said drive up in the car, are you talking previously? Like you had seen
Last
that-
winter.
Okay.
I'd seen the car over there.
Now, on September 8th, when you see that white car arrive, you described that you saw it speeding out of the driveway.
Yeah.
But is that like tires screeching in reverse?
She was, yeah, kind of. She was angry.
Okay. And you said that she slammed her door and threw her purse off.
She
So-
slung her purse up on her shoulder and immediately went up to the house.
Okay. So from your perspective, she looked like she was upset.
Yes.
Okay. And then you said the next time you saw her she was standing on the porch steps.
Yes, on the porch steps.
So you didn't see her outside at all in between those 2 periods of time?
Before she was standing up on the steps, she was throwing clothes in the car.
Okay. So you saw her at which car?
She was throwing clothes into Collin's car. The door was open and she was throwing clothes into the car.
And that would be the black car that was parked in the carport.
Yes.
And you're calling that Collins car because you saw the other person get out of the white car, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you hadn't actually seen the black car arrive.
No, but I knew that was Collin's car because I'd gotten a phone call because I was house sitting for Susan.
So you were aware that Collin was coming.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I knew Collin was there the Saturday before the accident happened.
Okay. And so you see a woman go into the house angry, and then she comes out with clothes and starts putting them in the black car. Did it look like she had calmed down?
I just didn't really pay that much attention to it like she'd calmed down, but she was throwing the clothes, so I'm assuming she was still upset. I don't know.
Okay, now,
I'm still across the street, so I don't know.
when you say throwing clothes, are we talking like into
Yeah.
the car? Okay, so
The
not
door was
placing.
open, so like throwing them in there.
And did you see her open the door? of
I
the
never
car?
seen her open the door.
Okay. So you weren't sitting and watching this whole incident.
Oh, no. I was busy in the kitchen and stuff.
All right.
Making sandwiches.
Now, you said that you saw a hand come out and touch a shoulder on
Yeah.
the steps. Did you hear anything?
I never heard nothing. I turned my head and went back into the house and got busy again.
And from your perspective, did it look like the person was getting dragged into the house?
No. I just, like I said, when I seen the hand come out and grab her by the shoulder, I turned and went back into the house. And I said, they'll probably work it out. I thought it was his sister or Susan's granddaughter. And I said, they're probably having a little spat and they'll work it out.
But you didn't call 911.
No, I never called 911.
Now, would you say that this type of thing is something that is typical in your neighborhood?
No.
This was a unique
I lived in
instance.
Chicago for 30 years, and I seen a lot in Chicago. So in Chicago, we see something, we usually turn the head the other way. And I know cops say if you see something, hear something, you're supposed to report. I didn't think anything more about it.
So this wasn't something that was so dangerous to you, you felt the
No,
need to report it.
I did not feel good.
And I mean, now the incident with a woman's going in, mad. Do people often, spin their tires in your neighborhood, anything like that?
No.
So the whole instance was pretty unique.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know why neighborhoods go to hell? Because people do this.
Now, after law enforcement arrived, was that the end of your night, or did you have?
Well,
any
there
more
was so many
interactions?
cops and stuff. No, I sit out on my lanai, and they just kept coming and coming. And then all the neighbors were out in the yard. We had no idea what went on.
Now, you're friends with Susan, correct?
Yes, I am.
Did you contact her?
I contacted her, yes, when I seen all the cop cars. I immediately called her.
Okay. And did you make any efforts to contact Collin?
Oh, no.
Did you see him after the instance?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Where was he?
He was in the driveway.
How did he look?
And his arms were red, and the cops were all around him. And I was on the phone talking to Susan, and Susan told me to go over and tell him that she would be there in a couple hours, or wherever she was at. She was in the Keys. And so I walked outside, and I waved at Collin, and I said, Susan's on her way.
From your perspective, did he look upset?
He looked very emotional, yes. He'd been crying. I could see him crying in the driveway.
So you could tell his face was red? Or
Oh, yeah, he was an emotional wreck. But I didn't know, I did not know what happened.
And, we've seen the aerial photos. This is not a very wide roadway that you're from across the street, correct? Like from your house to her house, it's close.
2 cars passing.
So you were able to get a good eye view on Collin at that moment.
From my lanai, yes.
And I'm talking when you walked out there, you're close enough that you could see him.
Well, his arms were red. I didn't know. I thought they were like you had been in a scuffle with somebody. Somebody grabs your arm and they turn red. That's what I looked like. It was a scuffle.
So he's got red arms. His face is red. It looks like he's been crying too.
He looked like he'd been crying.
Okay. And this was what time did you say?
4:40, 50, or somewhere around there. Whenever the cops got there.
So this is after the cops have arrived, and they have him outside.
Sandy, can't you see I'm in misery? Made a start, now we're apart. There's nothing left for me. Love has flown all alone. I sit and wonder why you're dead. Oh, Sandy.
Have him outside.
And prior to that, you had not seen him.
I had not seen him.
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Is the witness
Oh.
released?
Yes, sir.
The grandmother is Susan, then it's
Thank you, ma'am.
Susan, can't you see I'm in misery? Oh, Susan, baby.
Next witness, Mr. Levine.
When
This time,
murder
the state
Has it been received yet?
our 2 words will be one.
Are you offering States 165? For the record, what is it?
And ever we will
Is there any
be.
objection?
No objection.
Oh,
It is
please.
received. Ladies and gentlemen,
Stay.
Mr. Griffith has elected to waive his presence in the courtroom during the publication of States 165. Mr. Griffith?
My pleasure.
September 8th, 2024. 911, what's the address of the emergency? Hampton in Florida. I don't know the fucking, I don't know the city address. My mom is having EMS now. She's bleeding out. Please help. Your mom is doing what? My mom's bleeding out. She's bleeding out. Okay, what's the address? Or where do you think you are? What road are you at? Where crosses that road? So the Hampton in Florida, you go to the gate and you take the first right, and it's a house with a black jet out front. I'm trying to get into Hampton Inn. The Hampton Inn, yes, ma'am. What city is it in? It's Auburndale. I can get it in a minute. I can't hit her up. Okay, how do I lift someone? Okay, you've called 911, so we're gonna send an ambulance. She doesn't have time. She's leaving it. She keeps fucking bail. She doesn't have time. You need to go now. Okay, and I'm using the address I see you at. Is that right? Is that where you are? Yes, ma'am. Okay. What can I do? I have your price up here. She's fucking got a. What the fuck do I do? Help is being sent. Stay on the line so I can get more information for the responders. I am. I don't. Okay, help is being sent. Okay, medical help is being sent. She's bleeding out. Where is she bleeding from, sir? She's bleeding from the neck, ma'am. This is my mother.
Isn't he oddly? I know we never know how people will react, but he's just very matter of factly. And is it her we can hear gurgle sometimes?
You with the patient now? I'm with her now. How old is the patient? She's 39 years old. She has a heart condition. She has a. Is she awake? No, she's unconscious. She's not okay. Okay. Is she breathing? No, she's not. I don't think she's alive. Okay, where is it? Okay, and you said neck. Okay. All right, listen to me. I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line. I'll tell you exactly what to do next. Okay, listen to me. Are you right by her now? I am by her, yes. Okay, listen carefully. Lay her flat on her back on the floor and remove anything under her head. Okay, she's good. She's good. Okay, I get it right now. Okay. Listen carefully, and I'll tell you how to do chest compressions. Make sure she is flat on her back on the ground. Place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that hand. Let's take off the shirt. Just make sure she is flat on her back on the floor. Place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that hand. Okay. All right, pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 2 inches deep. Let the chest come all the way up between pumps. We're going to do this until help can take over. Count out loud so I can count with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1 moment. Okay, just keep going, okay?
I think it's just standard anything to keep the heart going, but it's really dumb when she has everything cut in her neck, because all you'll do at that point is just squirt everything out. So if she wasn't dead already, she would be. First practice is pressure, and then you can try and you'll just make blood fly everywhere if you're doing chest compressions. This is a trick one, because sometimes that can be on the chest bone, sometimes that could be on the belly button, Stephen.
So listen, what caused the bleeding? Listen, what caused the bleeding? She got real tight and she was getting me the knife and she fell on it.
Fell on a knife.
Where's the knife? Where is the knife right now? And who did she get in a fight with? She gave out me that. We got real tight for a long time. And then she got on top of me and fell on it. And pushed it back. The knife, the knife came in. Yeah, I don't have it. I'll try it across the board. Where is the knife? I just put it across the floor with you. And it's bleeding controlled. She stopped bleeding. No more blood coming out. She lost it.
Please stop bleeding. It keeps coming out.
Where did you throw the knife?
He sounds way more emotional now, and I think I might have misunderstood who was the caller and who was the EMT, because this voice is kind of the same.
Totally away from you. It's away from me. Where's your mother? I'm over her. I'm trying to save her. Where are you? Where's her? Where are you? I was in the kitchen, in the house, and the door is unlocked. Okay, you're with your mother, correct? Okay, listen to me. Listen to me, please. Stop, okay? Listen to me, and I'm going to tell you how to control the bleeding. Okay? Okay. All right, hold on. There's no more blood coming out of the wound. He's lost it all. Okay, listen, okay? We're going to do this, okay? Okay.
You'll do that real fast when your main arteries are cut in the neck. It'll go fast. So there's a video of someone's robbing a store, and the clerk just, I think he stabs him one time, and he just hits the artery, and he keels over in 10 seconds, and it's gone.
Listen to me. Get a clean, dry cloth or towel, and tell me when you have it. My son is down low. Okay. Is the blood spurting or pouring out? No. Okay. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's no more. All right. Does she have a bleeding disorder, or is she normally on blood thinners? No. Okay. I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line. I'll tell you exactly what to do next. Okay. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to stop the bleeding. Listen carefully to make sure we do it right. Get a clean, dry cloth or towel and tell me when you have it. Now place it right on the wound and press down firmly. Don't lift it up to look. Without lifting the cloth up, please tell me if the bleeding is under control now. Yes, there's no blood. She lost all her blood. Okay, reassure her that help is on the way from now on. Don't let them have anything to eat or drink. It might make them.
There's no blood. There's no more blood coming out. Don't let them have anything to eat or drink. They can get sick. Is this lady fired? First thing, she's bleeding. Okay, start CPR. No. Put pressure on the wound to stop the accident. Because if you start squishing a balloon with a hole in it, the air escapes faster. Then all of a sudden, by the way, she's bleeding after we've been doing compressions. We better put some pressure on the bleeding so it won't bleed anymore. And she asks, is it controlled? And he says, there's no more blood coming out. All the blood has come out of her. Don't let her eat and drink. I hope this lady is fired on the spot. She, in this case, if it's true what we heard about cutting everything, but in another accident, let's say someone had accidentally hit something and punctured an artery, and you don't instantly put pressure on it, because this lady would say, please put them in the safe position and don't elevate the point. She could kill people. This lady could kill people. Yep. I'll even go further than pretty terrible.
Make her sick or cause further problems. Don't move her unless it's absolutely necessary. Just tell her to be still and wait for help to arrive. Okay, listen to me, okay? Okay, we're going to continue with CPR. Listen to me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen, I need you to keep doing this. Listen, okay? I need you to keep doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, sometimes we get those who's totally calm under fire, talks to people, get them to calm down. This lady, she's doing absolutely everything wrong.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are they there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't even have it.
Are they inside? Hello? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you want. This lady seemed like she lost her head.
Mr. Griffith has returned. Mr. Levine.
All right, thank you. I'm State Law Deputy Alexander Walker.
Deputy Alexander Walker.
Step up this way. Step your raise right hand for the clerk or something.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Step up. Let's see each other. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Well, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Deputy Walker. May you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Hi, my name is Deputy Alexander Walker in the Sheriff's Office for about a year now.
Tell the jury about your education and training and experience in law enforcement.
So I graduated from Florida State with my bachelor's with a minor in psychology. I finished my training the winter of 2023. I've been in the Sheriff's Office for about a year, only about a half a year by the time of this incident.
All right, Deputy Walker, what shift did you work at that time?
I worked on the Delta night shift.
Now, specifically, I'm going to direct your attention to Sunday, September 8th of 2024. Did you respond to a crime scene in Polk County?
Yes, sir.
And describe to the jury what kind of call you got and what you did.
The call I got was a assist EMS, what we call as a 50 Alpha for an AED assist, a major medical assist.
Approximately how long did it take you to get to the scene from where you responded from?
Approximately 5 minutes from where we were at.
When you arrived on scene, what did you do first?
First thing I did when I entered the scene was I announced myself as Polk County Sheriff's Office, wanted the subjects inside to make themselves known to our presence so that if there was any harm, weapons, anything like that, they would be put away from arm's reach.
Did you go in by yourself?
No, sir.
Who did you go in with?
I went in with Deputy Sheriff Pibbernick.
And when you announce your presence, do you do that loudly? Do you shout it?
Yes, sir.
So anybody within the household that's alive would be able to hear it?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you enter, did you enter the door by the carport?
Yes, sir.
And when you entered, what did you notice about the first room that you entered?
First room that I entered, I noticed a pair, or at least a single AirPod, as well as the AirPod case on the ground.
Besides that being on the ground, did the house look like it was in order and nicely put together?
Yes, sir.
Where did you go from the living room area?
From there, I heard a male subject inside the house shouting, "I'm inside the kitchen."
What did you do next?
I then proceeded to the kitchen, and while walking to the kitchen, I saw a knife, a blood-covered knife, over in front of the washer and dryer to my left. I saw the subject in the kitchen.
Where was the subject positioned in relationship to the deceased lady?
The subject was positioned over the deceased's head.
Did you find that odd at all?
Yes.
Why?
For doing normal CPR and everything, assuming everybody's been taught and seen videos on doing CPR from beside the person, never over top their head, possibly blocking airways.
So when you saw the defendant above her head, what did you do next?
At that point, I told Deputy Sheriff Pibbernick to stay with the subject as I went outside to confirm for EMS that it was clear for them to come inside.
Do you see that person in the house? Excuse me, not in the house, but in the courtroom today that you saw in the house?
Yes, sir. He's right there.
And for the record, you're pointing over to the defense table. What is the defendant wearing for purposes of our record?
Wearing a plaid button-up shirt, a gray jacket, and glasses.
For the record, Deputy Walker has identified the defendant. Do you recall, Deputy, was the defendant wearing a shirt at that time?
No, sir.
So no shirt?
No shirt.
And did he have on a black pair of shorts and black shoes?
Yes, sir.
Did you notice any blood on his body?
None on his torso and none on his upper arms. It was only on his hands and forearms.
What happened next?
At that point, I began to secure the scene by putting crime scene tape around it. And after I was done with that, I was just waiting with Pibbernick and waiting for supervision as well.
Did you see anybody wash the blood off the defendant outside or
EMS.
inside or anywhere?
EMS rinsed off his arms.
And at whose request was that?
I do not recall.
Did you think that was a little out of the ordinary?
Yes.
If it were up to you, would a individual standing over a dead body be preserved in the manner in which you?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Yep.
Deputy Walker, as I was saying, if it were up to you and your duties and responsibilities, and you come into contact with somebody who's over the top of a dead person, would you try to keep them in the same state in terms of not letting them wash their hands or not letting them destroy evidence or get rid of anything?
Yes.
Now, did Deputy Pibbernick then take the defendant outside?
Yes.
Yeah, the thing about he was sitting over her head because you can't block airwaves. that kid didn't know what he was doing. He was told start compressions. That's what he did. So I think that's a little.
When you saw the defendant, describe his demeanor.
At first, he was in a somewhat manic state, but again, once he went outside, he was more calm and collected.
What happened when he was outside then?
Outside, he spontaneously uttered to me and Deputy Sheriff Pibernick that there was blood everywhere, and then it stopped bleeding, and then she was dead.
What were your responsibilities from that point on?
From that point on, the subject was then taken into custody and placed in the rear of my marked vehicle.
What was your opinion of the crime
Good
scene?
again when you get
That you-
your tickets.
Well, the question is unclear. Would you rephrase the question?
Yes, Your Honor. While you were inside at the crime scene, did you have an opportunity to observe the rooms that you thought were relevant? Understand that one?
Not really, no.
All right, you described the living room.
Mhm.
You described where you saw the defendant. Did you actually then go into the kitchen and
Yeah.
see the scene in the kitchen?
Yes.
What did you see?
In the kitchen, I saw a large pool of blood around the subject's head and neck area, as well as blood spatter going up the side of the cabinet.
Did you move anything?
Didn't move anything, no.
And is that common to purposely not move things so that the integrity of the scene can be maintained?
Yes, sir.
Now, when the defendant was in the back seat of your car, what were you doing?
While he was in the back seat, I was in the front seat of my car, working on this report.
And what was the defendant's demeanor like when he was in your car?
Demeanor was still calm and collected.
Did he seem to have any concern or worry?
No,
Did he speak about anything to you?
nothing genuinely. We were talking about, or I tried to spark up this normal conversation, asking about video games he played.
And did he respond and talk about video games?
Yeah, he said he enjoyed strategic games.
Did his demeanor change at all when you were interacting with him?
Little seemed more cheerful at the time, but still calm.
Was he then eventually taken to wherever you took him?
About some odd hours later, yes.
All right, Deputy Walker. I don't have any further questions for you.
Cross-examine.
Deputy Walker, Miss Griffith was lying on the floor in between
He should move to Texas and become a ranger. Walker, Texas Ranger.
a kitchen island and a kitchen cabinet, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Not a very wide space, was
No.
it? So really not any room for someone to be on the side of her to perform CPR, right?
Yes.
Oh, so you just put that in there.
When you were talking to Collin, when he was in your car, you brought up video games, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you did that to try and distract him from what he had just seen and been through, right?
No, ma'am.
What were you doing talking to him about video games then?
Just trying to have a normal conversation.
A normal conversation with a child whose mom just died in front of him. Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Had you read him his Miranda warnings?
No, ma'am.
Any reason why not?
He wasn't a suspect at the time.
He was in your custody, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Handcuffed,
Yes, ma'am.
inside a car that he could not get out of,
Yes, ma'am.
and you started talking to him.
Yes, ma'am.
You know from your training that if you are going to talk to somebody who is under arrest, that you are required to read them their Miranda warnings, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That includes you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney, correct? And
Yes,
it
ma'am.
goes on from there. But you did not read those to him,
Yes, ma'am.
even though you were talking to him and asking him questions after you'd handcuffed him and put him in your car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get in trouble for violating your procedures?
No, ma'am.
Had you ever met Collin Griffith before this?
No, ma'am.
So you have no idea how he acts normally.
No, ma'am.
Have you ever had a parent die in front of you?
No, ma'am.
So you don't know how you would react
No.
when something.
No, he's just they're just holding him back until further notice. And again, Miranda rights, Miranda rights. It's something that the lawyer thinks is a get out of jail card. It's not. Supreme Court has made multiple rulings where they'll side with the police officer saying, well, they talked.
Like that happened, would you?
No, ma'am.
Have you listened to the 911 call in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, what's your opinion of Collin's demeanor then? He wasn't calm and collected, was he?
At the beginning, it sounded as if he was calm, and then towards whenever deputies arrived on scene, then he was more frantic.
Okay, so the 9 or so minutes between the beginning and the end, you think he was normal?
At the beginning, yes, ma'am.
He was just detained.
I don't have any other questions.
Redirect.
Just briefly. So, Deputy, as it pertains to Miranda warnings, is it a fair statement you weren't interrogating him or asking him anything about the case? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So, from that standpoint, did you feel any reason to read him Miranda warnings when you weren't interrogating him or asking him anything about the case?
No, sir.
Is talking about video games with someone, is that some devious plan of yours, or was it just conversation?
Just conversation.
All right, I have no further questions.
Is
there a question?
Is there an objection? The answer was already.
Avoid the commentary, please, unless
Yes,
there is
sir.
a legal objection. Save it for argument.
Yes, sir.
Is the witness released?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Thornhill?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Understand?
Yeah.
But safety.
Every time I try to skip ahead, that's always.
All right, folks, it's about 2:30. We'll take our mid-afternoon recess of 15 minutes.
All rise, please.
Yeah, and they'll always try and come out, get out of it, saying, "Well, we didn't really ask him," and for the first time in forever.
Ms. Thornhill, you know better.
I do. You're right. I was just,
I understand.
yeah.
But save the outrage for the appropriate phase of the trial, no matter how outrageous it may sound. Anything we need to take out, Mr. Levine?
No, yeah.
Miss Thorhill, you know better.
All right, we'll be in a 15-minute recess.
That's a good way to say, don't pull tricks in here. You know better. So, yes, he is a pimple-faced 17-year-old kid who already had to defend himself twice against both his parents. Both of the times he was in luck. They were attacking him, and he got the drop on them. So, lucky kid blasted his dad in the chest. The mom accidentally fell on a stabulator. So, accidents do happen, but luckily enough for this kid, it was right when they were threatening his life. They had the accident. Well, the dad wasn't an accident. It was because he went cray-cray. But the mom, she was pointing a gun at him, and then she fell and slit her own neck. Sometimes you just get lucky. Did anyone, what the lady lawyer said? She said, I know. He doesn't sound like a psychopath in 911. No, but psychopaths are experts in hiding their true emotions and blah, blah. Sometimes we play along the lines of Dr. G and all the other body language experts, but we know it's just how you feel because you can't really use it as proof of anything. I think it's 4. No, more than 1. Isn't it 4? For Dexter, it's 3. 3 is the professional standard. Do you have conventions for serial unalivers? Yes. She was looking for evidence on the knife and didn't find any. Okay, no matter if they're calm or they are, but you know how it is. If she's crying on the stand, it's because she clearly did it. If she's not crying on the stand, it's because she clearly did it. If she's crying a little bit, it's because she clearly did it. If she's crying without tears but just shaking, it's because she clearly did it. Everything you did is the wrong thing. That's why I don't really go by the body language crap, because first of all, you don't know them. You don't know me. Second of all, they are in a high stressful situation. Some people are awkward in a stressful situation. It's some people will start making stupid. Do you know these people who laugh after their own sentences, like whenever they just because they're kind of weird. I hate people like that. You can never tell what is the correct way, and everything you will do when you are in a courtroom is the absolute wrong thing to do. If you're smiling, encouraging to your kid, you're looking smug. If you're just staring out in the air, you're not showing emotion. If you look frightened, you're putting on an act. It's always wrong, no matter what you do. It's in the ISO 9000 regulations. Oh, that's why Gene technically not a serial underliver. Yeah, the Karen Reed standard. Oh, look how angry she is. You look a little constipated. Oh, she's smiling. Oh, she's not smiling. It's the same. Yeah, and everyone reacts differently. Regarde mon visage. I have no emotions in my face 95% of the time. The rest of it is when I'm afraid of Jamie. So, how would I be on the stand if I was just sitting there like I normally do? Yeah, she was coming at me with a garage door. Just stepped out of the car. She said, "Come into the house," and all of a sudden, she just ran at me with a garage door. I don't know. Do not buy a Bissell vacuum because they suck and not in the way they're supposed to. Last year, no, 2023, the mom 2024. Well, you have to get a few under your belt until you can call yourself a red rummer. I think it's really possible this kid has grown up in a very toxic home, and no matter what others around him tried to do to help, mom felt entitled to him and so would isolate him when others tried to help. Could be. Let's see the CPS records. I don't laugh awkwardly, I laugh out loud, and it's the best. Yeah. Hey, Dory. No, because we don't know if they found the mom's pew. So far we haven't heard anything about it. They saw the stabulator. I love bakerisms. Well, I have a few of those. And the first time in forever. We have a saying here in Cape Breton Island: you can't win for losing. Thank you, Laura. You think after the first time he unalived someone, he's kind of know what is self-defense and what wasn't. Yeah, well, isn't he that the big guy from Mindhunters? Isn't that Ed Gein? Or what was that guy's name? Because they talked about a cut on the front of her shirt in the belly region. The forensic investigator showed us. She stood up and showed us around the belly button, but I think it was. Did they say right or left side? I can't remember, but cut the artery, cut everything up and out through the other side. It takes some commitment to do that. I know it was a big kitchen knife, but as someone who was shown videos of stuff like that when I was a soldier, just to know what we were up against, it's not just like butter. Softly slow. Oh my. Oh. Yeah, I was married to one of those. I mean, I've had one of those. So far behind. Not sure. I went back in the feed, and the defense said that's now being used against him after the prosecutor asked his last question, and that's why the judge admonished him. Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry. We never heard anything about the dad, Marissa, because we are not allowed to talk about the dad as not here anymore. He shot someone else and wasn't charged with it. We don't know anything about the dad not breathing. That was a great show. It was kind of weird in the beginning, but really, really good. I like those shows that's not action all the time. I really like that show. Edmund Kemper. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was a great show. There's too many great shows that never get a second season, and then there's way too many really bad shows that gets a second season. The 20 minutes from where Ed Gein lived. Is it Gein or Gene, or how is the last name? I thought they were talking about they were doing it, and then I think the coup came. That was Gein. Ed Gein. But I like these. I like shows like, especially because I'm watching all of this, and I know I could fool all of you, but I actually have to think a lot when I'm sitting here, because I have to follow the trial, remember parts of the trial, talk to you guys, remember everyone in chat, remember that Helen is from Holland, Gerda is from South Africa, Unbronzed Aussie is from Australia, Jamie is from Iceland, and Laura Riker is lying about where she's from, and I have to sit and think about, oh, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I have to do a recap video. I really should be doing. So I really, when I'm done with this, I'll take like an hour on my iPad and just watch something where I don't have to think a lot. And I like that show because it just told a great story in a slow tempo. The next season of Monster will be about Ed Gein, played by Charlie Hunnam. Oh, the British guy. I like him in The Gentleman. Great movie. If you haven't seen that, it's a sleeper. If you haven't seen The Gentleman, it's with Matthew McConaughey, Charlie Hunnam, Hugh Grant, Colin Farrell. Great little movie about aging drug dealers, mobsters in Britain. Really, really good movie. You should watch it. It's I recommend it highly. Wonder if Little D found my house yet. Are you talking to yourself? Are you talking about? Are you doing the? I'm so famous now that I talk about myself in third person. Oh. Yeah, Guy Ritchie when he's best. And that's a great movie. I really like that movie. Oh, no, I know you found my house. So again, you're not gonna fly 7,000 miles. Well, you would, but I'll be away. I'm streaming anyway. I don't have time for all that nonsense. Deranged is a good movie film that changed the name but follows the Ed Gein story relatively closely. What do you think Fedorowski is our, for those of you who don't know, Fedorowski has a great channel where he is filming Norway. He's from Norway, makes great films. You should watch them. Go join his channel. And what do you think about The Gentleman? I think it's a good movie. It's one of the better movies I've seen in a long time. And I know it wasn't really a big thing. Talk about your Psalms, talk about your John 3:16. Austin 3:16 said, I just whoop you. Why aren't they playing with the light in court? Are we going home? Yeah, please go check out Fedorowski. Great channel. You haven't seen it? I know movies. No wonder you like the walking simulator. All Norwegians wear sweaters as the one in Fedorowski's picture. If they refuse to wear them, they will be deported. Yeah. Actually, if you wear that kind of sweater in Denmark, you will be deported to Norway. And you will be upgraded from Norwegian to Danish if you can resist the urge to wear one of those sweaters. Well, I know something about baseball. You can hit a home run, a grand slam, and a triple double. Yeah, he is a filmmaker himself. I find it so weird with these people who will steal from graves, especially from famous unalivers. It's all these copycats. Ugh. I could be a Carl. Well, you can clean my house and make me a sandwich. And don't make too much noise. Yeah, the first season was good.
How many more?
I have 3 more witnesses.
Okay.
3 more witnesses today. Yes, a triple double. Well, The Gentleman is so old it has been played on Sundays in Danish television, so get at it. People will it's the same with the women who will date famous inmates. I don't know. In Denmark we have two bad people, really bad people. And I think both of them have been married multiple times in prison. Because young women will think they're sexy, and I know women like a bad boy, but a guy who unalived a woman and her 2 children and his own mother, I don't know. To me, it's if little D said, "Oh well, by the way, forgot to tell you, I unalived entire side of my family," I'll probably say, "Please forget my address." The second word means testicles in Danish. Yeah, maybe we should go out and unalive someone, and dating would pick up. And get back, because I need a wee. And I'm not talking about the entertainment system.
Please be seated. Next witness, Mr. Levine.
Your Honor, state cause.
Drunky the Bear was just because she was hot. Drunky the Bear and Pamela Anderson circa 1996. If you put them next to each other, you couldn't see the difference.
Anthony Hibernick.
Step this way, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Are we getting old? Every official in court today has looked 5. The forensic investigator, the 2 cops, well, not the cop who got fired, but the rest of them, they look 5 years old.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hi there, Deputy. May you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your name for the record?
Yes, I'm Deputy Pibernik with the Polk County Sheriff's Office, and you spell my last name as Pibernik.
And tell the jury a little bit about your education, work experience, and training.
He looks like Tom Holland in the first Spider-Man movie.
In law enforcement.
So actually, right when I graduated high school, I signed up to join the academy to become a Polk County Sheriff. Then I attended Polk State College, and then graduated from Polk State College and got sworn in as a deputy.
Do you work the road now?
Yes, I do.
And what shift do you work?
I am currently TDY to BSI, but at that time, I was on Southwest Delta.
And tell the jury about what BSI is.
BSI is an unmarked unit, so we do anything as far as finding someone who's narcotics and all these other types of operations that we work on.
All right, Deputy, I want to direct your attention to September 8th of 2024, Sunday evening. Did you get a call to respond to a location in Auburndale, reference a stabbing victim?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you did.
So I received a call, which is a signal 50 from EMS, which means we have to go make sure the scene is clear before we can enter. At this time, me and my partner, Deputy Walker, were arriving on scene. We entered the scene, and at that point is when we saw Collin Griffith over his mother trying to attempt to do CPR.
Now, do you see the person that you referenced as Collin Griffith in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Did you point to him and say something that he's wearing for our record?
Yes. He's wearing a gray jacket.
Your Honor, let the record reflect the deputy has identified the defendant. Now, when you came into contact with the defendant, what did you do?
I then walked him outside underneath the carport area right behind his vehicle.
And were you and Deputy Walker the first 2 law enforcement responders?
Yes.
And did you both go in the house together?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you first entered the house, what did you notice about the house, if anything, inside?
As I walked into the house, I immediately began to clear the house as my partner walked up to Collin Griffith. And then after clearing the house is when I walked back into the living room area, made it known that it was cleared, and that is when my partner advised me to take Collin Griffith outside.
Did you notice the ear pod on the ground in the family room?
At that point, I did not.
Did you notice it at any point?
After, yes.
Now, when you were outside with the defendant, or interacting with the defendant, how would you describe his demeanor?
When I first walked him outside, he was a little bit frantic. Seemed like something was definitely going on. And then as he began to explain what happened is when he became very calm. His demeanor completely changed.
Was that okay? Now, when he was talking to you, where did that take place?
Outside, underneath the carport next to his vehicle.
Now, did he explain to you or try to explain to you what happened?
At one point, he did.
Did you write a report in this case?
Yes.
Explain to the jury how you document what the defendant said in this case.
At the time on scene, I was documenting what he was saying by writing it on my notepad that I carry on me all the time.
So in this particular case, is it a fair statement you did not take like a tape statement? Is that correct?
I did not.
Now, is it important to you to get the words that he was saying accurate to then generate a report?
Yes.
And what was it that the defendant told you?
May I refer to my report?
You may. If it's of a length that you believe the most accurate way to state what he said is to read it, that would be acceptable under these circumstances.
Yes, sir.
You might need to use sidebar.
Correct.
What did you do, Jamie? Jamie, what did you do? Oh, and I was just trying to open one of these without making too much noise. I did have a little bio break. They're not sour, those gummy ones. Within the sound of silence, Reese's makes a protein bar. Bars are weird. I don't like them because if they taste good, there's no protein in them, and it's just a chocolate bar more or less. And if you get the protein in them, it's grainy and feels like chewing ash. So I'll drink my protein shake. I forgot my protein shake. Yeah, it's always Jamie's fault. I don't know why Jamie always tried to ruin everything. Did he say anything interesting? Because I was on the crapper, as Jamie says. I wasn't crapping. I was peeing. Peanut butter is protein. Yeah, it should be. There's a lot of nuts in it. Oh, with 20 grams or more, and that's high in protein. Because the normal ones are like 16 grams, and then you could just eat a candy bar. I have whey protein, so just take a scoop of that. Yeah, well, it depends on what you use them for. As a big fella, I don't need those that's very sugary. Yes, chewing ash. Not what little D was hoping I said. Peanut butter chocolate protein shake. I'm right now I'm on some strawberry. Let's just say it's too cheap. It doesn't really have any flavor, and it's lumpy as all heck. I think they say anything below 18% or 18 grams of, you don't have to eat it. It doesn't matter. It looks like a hair helmet. Soup. Always eat soup after a stomach bug. I didn't know that one. A lot of shops have begun carrying the barbells, but I'm not a big fan of those. A Reese's protein shake. Is that a thing? Protein shake. Oh, you can get some C4 whey protein. That's expensive. 25 grams of protein. That's pretty good. Well, at least he's not reading his report. He's just looking out the window. A hermit. No, the funny thing is, a lot of people think, oh, I'll snack on some nuts. I wish you would, to stay healthy. But there's a lot of fat in like almonds and stuff like that. So you really have to be careful. Sometimes you can get more fat in you than eating chocolate. Yep. Got to go to a Planet smoothie when you come to the Americas. Yeah, I don't mind a good smoothie. This is a really, really good gift. Thank you, Jemima. Because I get bored a lot when I'm just sitting here. So it's nice to have something to play with. The case is a 17-year-old guy is being accused of stabulating his mom in the neck because either she was the worst B word in the world or he's psychotic. The state claims he just stabulated her after dragging her into a house. The defense says, well, it was kind of self-defense he did it. He also have a little thing that he pew-pewed his dad in the chest a year before this when he was 15, 16 years old, around that time. I can't really figure out when his birthday was, but he's unalived both his parents, and both of them, sadly, self-defense. He had to do it.
Now, Deputy, did you interact with the defendant at all inside of the squad car, or were you just interacting with the defendant outside?
I interacted with him outside, and then once I sat with him in the vehicle, yes, there was an interaction.
And was that Deputy Walker's car?
Yes.
If I may have a brief moment, Your Honor. Thank you. Did the defendant give to you two different statements to you?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
For the first time forever.
Deputy Burdick, do you have any recording devices either on your person with all the gear you have or in your car as you're on patrol?
No, ma'am, other than just the telephone.
So a cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
But it that can record things, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you carry your cell phone on you?
Yes, ma'am.
So you could record anything that you experience at a scene, right? If you weren't, say, clearing it and making sure people were safe.
Yes, ma'am.
So, for instance, in an interaction with Collin, you could have recorded that.
Yes, ma'am.
But you didn't.
I did not.
Redirect.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Is the witness released?
He is, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Captain James Parker.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's what you said.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon, Captain Parker. May you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Captain James Parker. I work for Polk County Fire Rescue.
Being a captain at PCFR, what are your responsibilities?
I oversee the daily operations and duties of Station 39, which is off of East Main Street for Polk County Fire Rescue.
Yeah, we haven't had any body cams so far, right? Florida normally have body cams.
Meaning the engine into rescue companies that run medical calls and fires in that area.
Tell the jury about your education and training and experience.
No, we don't care.
General high school education, and then you proceed on to a fire academy, which you are completed from that with fire standards. Then proceed on to first responder EMT, which are semester-long programs, a year of paramedic, and then subsequent classes in driver engineer school, as well as fire officer 1, which is another 5 or 6 courses to which you can then test and get certified to be a captain.
Didn't they just talk about ring cameras inside of the house? Did they mention body cam? I'm pretty sure. I don't. I know they talked about multiple cameras inside of the house, but I don't know if we're going to see body cams. But well, we don't see the evidence, so.
To attain the rank of captain, did you have to come up through the ranks and work the different positions?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And how many years have you been on the job?
With Polk County Fire Rescue, this will be year 11 for me.
All right. Now, Captain Parker, during your time in your position, not necessarily just as a captain, but just in your career, have you had the opportunity to respond to many different scenes where somebody has been injured?
Yes, sir. On average, about 2,000 calls a year.
During those many, many calls, have you ever seen a victim that has been stabbed, that had a stab wound?
There's been quite a few. I'm not sure as to how many.
All right. I want to direct your attention to this case particularly. What was your responsibility as it pertains to September 8th of 2024?
My crew and myself were dispatched to a call. It was dispatched as
Did he cut his beautiful long hair? I don't know.
an assault call, which is a generic code out for something that was put in through dispatch. We were responding per our policy. We staged at a short distance away until law enforcement is able to arrive on scene and make sure the scene is secured and safe. At which time we then proceed on scene and provide any medical need or necessity of the victim / patients.
Did you enter the residence to see the victim?
Yes, sir.
Describe to the jury what you saw.
We entered through the front door, went through the living room area, back into the kitchen, at which point they were escorting the accused out of the residence. The victim herself was laying on the kitchen floor, supine, and with a pool of blood.
What does supine mean?
On her back.
Now, did she have any signs of life whatsoever?
No, sir.
The pale color, what is that indicative of?
Typically of blood loss or poor circulation.
Is she checked for a pulse and her vitals and whatnot?
Yes, sir. Per usual, we arrive on scene, check the patient's responsiveness. She was not responsive, to which I could then tell she was not breathing. A pulse was checked for and not obtained, as she did not currently have one. CPR was initiated for a brief few seconds until further extended injuries could be checked, and then it was determined among the crew and myself that the injuries were not sustainable.
So based upon the severity of the stab wounds, was there anything you could further do for her?
No, sir.
Now, what can you tell the jury about what you saw pertaining to the stab wound?
The stab wound itself did not seem to be very wide. It was kind of narrow in size. Upon further inspection after starting the CPR, it was obvious that every time I did a compression, there was air that was coming through the wound itself. So it was obviously pretty deep. It looked like a lot of the vasculature and stuff inside of the wound itself was very obvious and could be seen, and that it had cut major areas such as arteries.
Okay. What was the terminology you used? The vascular?
Vasculature, yes, sir.
What does that mean?
Meaning the tissue and stuff surrounding.
So the inside of her neck was apparent. You could actually see what was inside?
Yes, sir.
What was the defendant's demeanor like?
From my personal experience, it was a little odd in nature. He didn't seem very distraught or upset. He seemed kind of calm upon my entering the residence. And then upon exiting the residence, he seemed to almost have a, not a full argument, but somewhat argumentative with the deputies that were trying to assist him out of the residence.
Now, during the 11 years when you've interacted with different people at a scene similar to this, I mean, is there any one way to act, or do you see it all?
No, it's different for each person.
Okay. Was the way that you described the defendant's demeanor, did that stand out? Did that stand out compared to the other scenes you've been to?
Yeah, that's not. I mean, like I said, I've seen several, and to be distraught, to be upset, or to be in tears or even hysterical is pretty common. I would say that's what I see most of the time. And he didn't seem to be any of those.
All right, Captain Parker, I don't have any further questions for you.
Thank you for showing up, Buttface.
Captain Parker, do you have any psychological training?
No, ma'am, I do not.
You did say that there is no one right way for somebody to act after they've been through either a fight or a traumatic experience, right?
I did say that.
So you cannot say what was going on inside of Collin's mind or heart when you saw him, can you?
No, ma'am, I didn't say what was going on inside of him.
And you have no idea what he's been through in his
It's a birthday gift from Jemima.
life and what coping mechanisms he has devised or that he has had to come up with to survive those things, do you?
No, ma'am, I've never met him before this.
And you have no idea what happened in that kitchen before you arrived, do you?
No, ma'am, I cannot speculate as to that.
Thank you.
Redirect.
I would never do that.
Captain Parker, was the stab wound that you saw consistent with the victim being stabbed by somebody?
I would think so.
No further questions, John.
Is the witness released?
What training do you have that could? Does he have any stabulating specific training that could tell? Because as someone said, maybe someone did it themselves. It would be kind of crazy, but not without the possibility.
No objection, Your Honor.
Start. Thank you, sir. You're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I never call people butt face.
Next witness.
Yeah, but how do you tell the difference? He said it was a small spot and it just hit all the right spots.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Step up here, watch your step.
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
Someone get that man an oxygen.
All right. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Owen Mullen, OWEN, I'm a firefighter paramedic for Polk County Fire Rescue.
Tell the jury about your training and experience.
So I started in New York State about 2017, 2018 as a firefighter EMT. I became a paramedic in 2021. I moved here in 2022, or actually 2023. I've worked at Polk County Fire Rescue since I moved here.
And in your current position, what are your responsibilities?
So on my career, I'm the lead paramedic. I work on the ambulance. So I make patient care decisions.
And was that what you were working September 8th of last year?
Yes.
Tell the jury about how you responded to the crime scene in this case.
We were dispatched to, I believe, an assault call. While we were responding to there, we got information on our dispatch that the patient had gotten an injury to her neck. She was bleeding. She was not conscious. And the dispatch was giving the caller life-saving instructions. And then we were going to stage in the area for a police to secure the scene.
Did you have an opportunity to actually go inside the house?
Yeah, once the deputies cleared the scene, we went in and I found the patient in the kitchen.
What did you notice about the patient?
She was lying face up. She had a wound in her neck. It was narrow and very deep, and she was no longer bleeding. She was not conscious.
And from the very deep wound, did you have any further thoughts about the nature of the wound?
You could see all the way back to her neck very easily. You could see her vasculature and muscle tissue were obviously visible. And that type of injury is incompatible with life.
Did you have an opportunity to observe the defendant's demeanor on scene?
I did not directly interact with him, but when I did notice him, he was outside talking with the deputies. He did not appear upset, and he was almost kind of annoyed with their questioning of him.
Have you been to other scenes where somebody's family member, spouse, or close friend has been killed?
Yes, very frequently.
All right. And what do you typically see there?
Typically, they'd be very upset and hysterical, although it is different for every person.
Did the defendant's demeanor seem out of the ordinary to you?
Yes.
Were you the one that eventually declared the victim officially deceased?
Yes.
And at what time was that?
I believe at 18:27.
That being 6:27 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, is that, I understand that's the official time you write down, but is it a fair statement that she could have been dead, obviously before that time? That's just when you declared her dead?
Yes, that time is when we called on the radio. I declared her deceased.
What happens if
but
you...
her actual time of death could have been before that.
Okay, gotcha. Do you declare a time of death if you arrive to a scene like a day or two after somebody's been dead?
Yes, because we are normally the first medical provider that sees that person, and usually when we declare that, that's the time of death that stays with the patient, unless there's some other circumstances.
Okay, so as you said earlier, though, the patient could have died in a general sense, minutes, hours, days before. Correct. Not in this particular case, but just in general sense?
Correct.
All right, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Cross-exam.
Well, that was nice.
Mr.
Guilty first
Mullen,
degree.
How many Polk County Fire Rescue personnel entered the kitchen?
We had a crew of 5 on my crew. I have a partner on the ambulance, and we had 3 on the engine. So I believe all 5 of us had entered. So I believe 5.
5 people entered the actual kitchen.
Correct.
And how many people laid hands on or got close enough to apply like the little stickers we see on Miss Griffith's body?
Myself, my captain who just testified, and then one of my firefighter EMTs had placed those stickers on. Those are the 3 I know. I don't believe anyone else actually had touched her directly.
The area where she was laying was quite confined, right?
Yes.
And the scene was messy when you arrived,
Yes.
as far as blood?
Yes.
Today, while you were waiting to testify, did you talk about your testimony with any of the other witnesses, say your partner or the captain or the deputies who also responded and cleared the scene for you?
Not exactly. You're just making conversation.
Didn't talk about this case at all?
We talked about the case, but not what we were going to say.
Okay. Thanks.
Redirect.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Is the witness released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Thornhill?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Your Honor, that will be the last witness that the state has to present today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're making up for your late day yesterday. We're going to end a little bit early today. It's almost 3:30. Please remember you're not to even begin thinking about how you might decide this case or form any opinions about the case. Of course, don't talk to anyone about it or look anything up. Please enjoy your evening. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8:30.
All rise, please. Ready, seated?
Anything we need to take up, Mr. Levine?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Thornhill?
No, sir.
All right. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8:30.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Well, interesting day. I don't know. I'm in a little bit of a tough spot because it sounds like they're kind of going for a type of self-defense, a type of self-defense, but at the same time, he claims she tripped, and that's when it happened. Stepping aside from the opening statements, what have we had proven today? We know he called 911. We know a neighbor saw him drag his mother into the house, but not in the, again, step away from the opening statements. In some kind of either grabbing her by the hair or grabbing her by the shoulder, but she was walking alongside of him. The mom had been agitated, flailing her arms before that, but not really anything. We know that something happened in Oklahoma. We know he didn't act like professionals wanted him to act at the scene. If that means anything, the forensic investigators told us, yeah, there was blood everywhere. It was under the cabinets. But again, that doesn't mean she was on the floor when it happened, because we know he was doing CPR, which could pump it everywhere. Yeah, pulled her, not dragged. Yeah, Julia, great word. Pulled. That's the word I should have used. Or whatever you will call it. He didn't have a normal reaction. But again, what is normal? Listening to him on the 911, I kind of went from he's oddly calm to he's quite emotional. Yeah, I know. Like Julie Fraser, I learned what a lanai is. Could be she tripped and he was holding the weapon, or he was trying to get the weapon. No, because they claim she had a pew pew. I don't. It's one of those where you're thinking it's not much hard evidence so far, but again, we didn't see the crime scene photos. I think that's kind of annoying. I would like to know what they showed on the crime scene photos. I think that could possibly have helped us understand it a bit better. But it's kind of hard to right now. I don't have a clear picture of what went on that day. I have to say that it's kind of hard to. I hope we get some better evidence tomorrow. I hope that we will get some people in who can kind of hammer it home. What had happened was I haven't read anywhere anyone claiming anything about intoxications. So I don't know how you fall on a knife, go all the way through from one side to the other. The problem with that to me is if it's not in there anymore. Did she pull it out? That could be one of those where you're thinking, I don't know. What do you think? Did we get any hard evidence today? Did we get? We know it was Professor Plum in the kitchen with a knife, but I don't know. Yeah, and his prints weren't, but he did admit he did it. kind of in opening statements. But again, opening statement is just opening statements. So no, but he admitted he did it. So they're not running from the fact. Well, they are kind of, because they were the ones talking about the prints on the knife. It's one of those weird cases where you're sitting here thinking, what in the hölle is going on? That's yeah, I'm just not. I'm just not 100% sure that it was a good day or a bad day. It was a lot of circumstantial and a lot of trust me, he didn't seem like you should seem when something happened. Could be they were struggling. That's not the story they are getting to. There's, if we again just looking at the evidence provided so far, we haven't had any questions about. The only thing we had was, were they struggling outside, and you had kind of two. The ladies saw it differently, but none of them said what they claimed, that he must have had her by the hair and pulled her in there. That's how I read it too, that she was kind of on the ground and being pulled like in a Flintstone cartoon. That's not what happened. It is possible, but the stabulator would have to, for it to go in here when you're falling, because your hand will be falling with you, so you'll have to just stab myself in the neck. It's also possible to stabulate yourself in the neck when you're showing how to stabulate yourself, because I am not that smart. But it's just, for me, we just comes off. Well, Crispy, I can't force you to do that. No, and if it was filled with blood, if it was stuck in there and he was pulling it out, and again, if you're holding it, well, this has a very small handle, so it's not the correct. But would your fingerprints be on it, or would you be more like grabbing it so your fingerprints could be on your hand? It's one of those. Doesn't mean anything. Because he was reading directly from his report. Yeah. Probably gonna. There's no blood. That's fine. Well, she said she saw a hand on the shoulder. The other one saw him gripping her by the hair. That's, to me, that's two different things. If I take you and say, "Hey, come down. Let's go inside. Let's not disturb all the neighbors," because she was flailing around and yelling and screaming, as the defense claims. That's, I could see that happen, saying, "Okay, now inside. We're not going to do this in public." And then you grab her by the hair and say, "Get in the house." That's two very, very distinct different things, in my opinion. It ain't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Do up, do up, do up, do up, do up, do up. Yay. Managed to injure myself in all sorts of strange ways. Anything's possible. Yeah, but again, stabulate yourself all the way through the neck could be a bit of a problem, because is the stabulator stuck on the floor, or do you have it and hit it on the way down? I don't know. No, but again, she was allowed to testify, and it has the weight it has, and it didn't. I heard it, and I'm just thinking, oh, maybe she saw that. So I hope we get some more clarity tomorrow on what happened. But so far they have been building up to it, so we're probably going to get a a forensic pathologist tomorrow, or a medical examiner, and a lead detective. And are they going to call the... Do we know if state will call the grandma, or if it was only defense who will do it? I have been singing a lot today. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's because I got all my gifts. So I'm happy camping today. I didn't like the beginning of it, but then it was more real than Sarah Boone's. Let's say it in that way. So yeah, Julie Fraser has a great profile pic. Yeah, I really hate that you must do this in this situation, because I go into let me fix this when stuff happens. When I've talked this about this a lot of times. I lost both my parents, and when I lost my mom, she was the first to go. She got the big C. My dad gave me the phone and said, "You have to. I can't call your siblings." And I just did that and called everyone. Talked about the funeral's going to be like this. We're going to do that. Went into okay mode, and then I think I started crying at the funeral. Before that, I was just fix it mode because I had to take care of my dad. When my dad passed away, I went into fix it mode again and just started calling everyone, contacting the what are you calling, the undertaker and the church priest. Had interviews with the papers, and I cried a little bit at church. But then 3 months later, New Year, the day before New Year's Eve, I totally crashed. All of it just flooded me. So I'm one of those person. I'll turn into okay action man when stuff happens to me. I don't have that. I don't panic. I'll have the emotional thing later. I'll fix it. I'll make sure everything's okay. I'll take care of everyone, and then later it's my time. But I don't know how I would, if it was an accident, how I would react, or if I did it on purpose, how I would react. I don't know. Yeah, some people would start laughing. So yeah, the funeral home. You missed my gift. I got 2 grifter hats. I got a lot of candy. I got a lot of the different stickers that we gave away yesterday for the bingo. I got some shoelaces. That says shoelace of justice. And then I got my little crocheted muffin stress ball. I really like that one, because I play a lot with the stuff when I'm sitting here. Yeah, and you'll have the breakdown later. We need a Baker action figure. I don't know, where do you get an overweight pale guy? Do they sell stuff like that? Yeah. Yeah, people make jokes. Some people will get mad at God. Some people will get mad at everyone else. There's no right way. So yeah, no way to act. But also think people who deal with individuals in a variety of hard situations can comment. Of course they can, but it's just a sleazy thing to say. did he act as he's supposed to do? I feel that's a little bit sleazy. But we'll see. Yes, that's to take care of that problem. We'll see tomorrow. I'm going to send them to Grant and say, can you unblock me on Twitter? You can get a new belt. But I'm going to see you tomorrow at 8:30 again. Fresh off the press. I hate it starts at 8:30. That's normally when I get up from my pre-stream nap. But tomorrow, 8:30, we will be doing this again and hope something something a little bit more precise will be brought in so we can say, oh, or And I feel that's where we need to go. Everyone, thank you all so much for joining me today. Do all the YouTube things you know I hate to ask you about. And come back tomorrow. If you don't already, follow the Twit or follow the Discord so you can get notifications when we go live. And because YouTube doesn't always alert you. Thank you all so much for all the super chats and all the gifted memberships today. You are more than generous, and I appreciate you all very much. And Jemima, thank you for the birthday gifts. Sakala Hasto.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Checking your honor.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.